What if one single question could destroy the image a powerful man had built his entire life? What if the person who asked it had nothing? No wealth, no status, no power, just eyes that could see the truth. This is that story. Once, in a great and prosperous kingdom, there lived a king named Aaron. King Aaron was not known for his armies. He was not known for his wars. He was not even known for his wisdom. He was known for one thing and one thing only: his generosity. Every single Friday, without fail, King Aaron would put on his finest royal robes, climb onto his white horse, and ride slowly through the streets of his city. And as he rode, he threw gold coins into the crowds, not silver, gold.
Thank you, King
The people
Aran.
went wild.
Long may you
They cheered
reign.
his name. They threw flowers at his horse. They bowed so deeply their foreheads almost touched the ground. And the poets? The poets wrote songs about him. Songs that called him the father of the poor, the shield of the weak, the most generous king who ever lived. And King Aaron loved every single word of it. He loved the cheering. He loved the bowing. He loved the songs. He loved the titles. Every Friday felt like a celebration made just for him. And in his own mind, he was convinced, I am a good man. I am a giving man. I am the greatest king this land has ever seen. But one Friday morning, everything was about to change. The king rode through the market as usual, coins flying, crowds cheering, flowers in the air. Everything was the same, except for one thing. In the far corner of the market, near a broken wall, sat a very old beggar. His clothes were torn. His sandals were worn down to almost nothing. His white beard was long and dusty, but his eyes were sharp, clear, completely calm. And he was not cheering. He was not bowing. He was not even looking at the coins on the ground. He was simply sitting there, watching the king with quiet, steady eyes. The king noticed him immediately. Something about it bothered him, deeply. Everyone else was celebrating. Everyone else was grateful. Everyone else was on their feet. Why was this one old man just sitting there watching? The king pulled on the reins of his horse and rode slowly toward the beggar. The crowd went quiet. The king looked down from his horse and said proudly, "Old man, do you know who I am?" The beggar looked up slowly. No fear, no nervousness, just calm. "Yes," he said simply. "You are the king." "Then why do you not cheer?" the king asked. "Why do you not bow like the others? Do you not see my generosity? Do you not appreciate what I do for the people of this city?" The beggar said nothing for a moment. He looked at the gold coins scattered on the ground. He looked at the cheering crowds. He looked back at the king. And then, in a voice so quiet that only the king could hear, he asked one question. Just one. "Your Majesty," he said, "tell me something honestly. When you ride through these streets and throw these gold coins to the poor, who benefits more?" The king frowned. "The poor, of course. They receive the gold." The beggar shook his head gently. "I did not ask who receives the gold," he said. "I asked who benefits more." He paused. "Them. Or you." The market was silent. The king opened his mouth to answer, but the words did not come. Because the moment he tried to answer, something happened inside him. A door opened, a door he had kept locked his entire life, and behind that door was a truth he had never allowed himself to see. He thought about the poor. Yes, the gold helped them. They bought food. They fed their children. That was real. But then he thought about himself. He thought about how he felt on the nights before Friday, the excitement, the anticipation, the way he carefully chose his finest robe, the way he practiced his smile in the mirror. He thought about how empty he felt on the rare Fridays when rain kept people indoors and the streets were quiet. He thought about how angry he once became when a poet forgot to mention his name in a song about generosity. He thought about how he once gave twice as many coins on a Friday when a foreign ambassador was visiting, just so the ambassador could witness it, just so the story would travel back to other kingdoms. The king sat on his horse, completely frozen. The beggar did not smile. He did not argue. He did not press further. He simply waited. And in that heavy silence, the king finally heard the answer he had been running from his whole life. He was not giving for them, he was giving for himself. The gold was for the poor. But the giving was for him. It was his entertainment, his reputation, his identity, his drug. Without the crowds, he was just a man on a horse, throwing coins into empty air. And that thought shook him to his core. That night, the king did not sleep. He sat by his window, staring at the dark city below. He kept hearing that one question over and over again. Who benefits more, them or you? He thought about every Friday of his life. Every coin, every cheer, every bow, every song. And slowly, painfully, honestly, he began to understand. He had spent years believing he was generous, but he had never once given anything when no one was watching. Not once. The next morning, he called his most trusted minister into his private chamber. He spoke quietly, almost in a whisper. From today, every week I want food, medicine, and gold sent to the poorest families in the kingdom. The minister nodded. Of course, Your Majesty. Shall I arrange the Friday procession as usual? No, the king said. The minister looked confused. Send everything at night, the king continued, quietly. No announcement, no procession, no crowd, no ceremony. Leave everything at their doors before dawn, and tell no one it comes from me. The minister stared at him. But, Your Majesty, no one will know it is you. The king was quiet for a long moment. Then he smiled. A real smile. Not the practiced one from the mirror. Yes, he said softly. That is exactly the point. Friends, that old beggar had nothing. Torn clothes, worn sandals, not a single coin to his name. But he had something far more valuable than gold. He had the ability to see the truth that others could not. And with one quiet question, he gave the king something no amount of gold could ever buy. He gave him a mirror, not the kind that shows your face, the kind that shows your soul. True generosity has no audience. True kindness does not need applause. True giving does not wait for someone to be watching. Because the moment you need people to see your goodness, ask yourself honestly, is this really for them? Or is this a performance? Real giving is done in silence. Real kindness expects nothing in return. Not praise, not recognition, not even a thank you. Because the purest form of giving is when only two people know about it. You and God. If this story made you stop and think even for a moment, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Because sometimes one question is all it takes to change everything. Be patient, be grateful, and keep moving forward.